Hey, Brandy.
Hi.
I'm Wiggins, licensed clinical social worker.
Nice to meet you.
How's it going?
I'm okay.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming in today, and I was kind of interested in why you decided to step in.
I recently went through a divorce and just feeling overwhelmed and more anxiety, depression.
I imagine that can contribute to it quite a bit.
Yes.
How long were you married?
12 years. 12 years. Good while.
Do y'all have any children?
We do. We have two, a 15-year-old boy and a 13-year-old girl.
Wow. Prime time for
Teenagers.
teenagers. Yeah. So, are you now responsible for everything in the household with the children and such?
Yes, primary caregiver.
Okay.
Ups and downs.
Now, did you work throughout your marriage?
No, I was a stay-at-home mom
Okay.
up until that point, and then I had to get out and get a job, and so I was interested in working with special needs kids. So luckily there was an opening at the high school in where I'm from, and I've been doing that now for about 6 years.
So it takes a lot of compassion to take care of children that have been diagnosed with autism.
Yeah, patience, lots of patience and understanding. It's stressful at times.
For sure. And then working, taking care of children, and then going home and taking care of children, right?
Yes, and that's where the stress, sometimes I feel like I have short fuse.
I can see that. So, the reasons for coming into treatment were, you had mentioned some depression and some anxiety. Has that existed for you your whole life, like prior to children and prior to marriage?
Yes, I think so. I think it reached a peak postpartum after my first child.
How in the past have you managed the anxiety?
Mood swings and anger. And I have taken medicine in the past, but I don't continue because of side effects.
So your symptoms of depression are you being really angry, having
Or
mood
lack of
swings.
sleep.
Okay, lack of sleep can contribute a lot to depression and anxiety.
Racing thoughts, unable to focus, and just I isolate myself often.
That can definitely increase our anxiety and depression. When you say that you've taken medication in the past, how long did you stay on it consistently?
3 years at the most, and then change over if I didn't feel it was working or side effects were too much to handle.
Did the medication, did you feel like it was helping you?
Sometimes, yeah, at some point, but not always. Depends on the situation, how I handled it.
Were you seeking therapy during that time too, or just medication or a medication regimen?
Just medicine, not therapy. This is my first time.
Gotcha. Cool. Nothing to be afraid of. Talk therapy can be great. When we vocalize it, when we keep it inside, it tends to fester and make things worse. So, and I'm an advocate for medication, but I think if you have both of the parts together, the therapy and the medication, you can see a lot of health benefits there. And so there's a couple different therapy techniques and things that you can use and do outside of here as well to help with some of the depression and anxiety. What do you do for yourself that makes you happy?
I hike and camp, but sometimes if I get too low, I don't feel like getting out of bed.
Are there times in your life where you stayed in the bed all day?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where the fatigue comes in from not sleeping at night.
So, do you, like if you make a mistake or if something doesn't go the way that you've planned, how do you deal with those outcomes?
Negative thinking, which causes the anxiety and depression to get worse. Negative thoughts about myself, because I assume everyone thinks that as well.
So the way that you perceive yourself, you feel the world perceives you the same way.
Yes.
What are some things that you say to yourself that you consider negative?
I'm a failure. I'm not a good mom. What mistake did I make today to cause my children to have, poor memories of me in the future as a mom?
Can you check those facts? Like, what are ways for you that you know that you have been a good mom?
I guess because I have good kids and people tell me that I have good kids. That would be a fact.
Sure. All right. So that would definitely play a part. What else? What else would it give you some security of knowing that you're a good mom as well?
Maybe hearing it, but I know maybe if I didn't struggle so much with the anxiety, that I wouldn't have those thoughts or the racing thoughts, the negative, that I could replace it with positive some way.
Okay. Like what? Like if you make a mistake, or sometimes we put so many demands on ourselves, like we have to work full time and we have to come home and the house has to be clean and dinner has to be made perfectly and the kids have to be in bed by a certain time. And if that doesn't follow that schedule or that routine, does that mean that I have failed?
So maybe daily not setting my goals so high. If meals aren't served at 6:30 or homework's not done by a certain time, then that doesn't mean that I failed, that I'm human, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we, as humans, we don't give ourselves that grace and compassion, and we are human, and we are flawed. That's what humans are, and your kids have a roof under their head, they're fed, they have a bed to sleep in. You get feedback from teachers and the community that you have good children and they're respectful. So that can dispute some of those things, those negative thoughts that we have, And then as a mom, you're not supposed to be perfect because that doesn't exist. And so it could be like, how do I change my expectations of myself? And where can I show myself grace and compassion? And when I start to go to the I'm a failure, I could replace that with I've made a mistake, but I'm still a good person. I've made a mistake and I'm still a good person. In being able to do that allows us to reframe the way that we think about ourselves, which will allow ourselves to build up our confidence more. So it's not such a hard hit, and good for your children to see that it's okay to be flawed.
Yeah, that would be something good to teach them as well while I'm learning myself.
If you had to look at therapy, what are some things that you want to gain from it?
Maybe new ways of thinking, that mostly, I've never sat down to speak with someone that I didn't know, and being able to trust and not have thoughts of inadequacy once I've discussed those things, like it was the right or the wrong answer.
Yeah, and it does. It takes a lot of trust to walk into a door and talk about personal things that sometimes we don't even feel comfortable talking about with our loved ones, and I'm supposed to tell someone that I don't even know. And so obviously you have goals in mind and motivated to do something differently because you don't enjoy the way your life is being run at the moment.
Yes, most definitely.
I would suggest in part of this therapy process, because you have mentioned having just inadequacy in general, is also daily affirmations. Things that I can say to myself each morning when I'm struggling. And Sometimes you can put them on your bathroom mirror when you're getting ready for work that says, I am enough. I am lovable. I am worthy. I am okay with flaws. And saying these things, and sometimes we have to say them before we believe them. And eventually, and hopefully, we will believe them. And some of that may help, and if you decide to go back and get on medication, the medication and the therapy may be able to have a better outcome for you, in the past.
Well, that's definitely what I need.
You're welcome. Would you like to set up an appointment for next week?
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. What time is available for you? Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesdays, 3:30 is good.
Thanks, Brandy. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, too.